So you may understand what I'm talking about.
or not, you may agree with me or not, when I say that I believe that every person has a unique place in this world. Every human being has a unique set of experiences and filters and opportunities that allow them to see life differently than anyone else ever possibly can. So that makes each of us very crucial to the whole picture. If you don't live and act according to the unique character within you, then we'll all miss out on the flavor that that character has to bring to us in life. Now, around my early 20s, when I was in college, I had a major kind of little bit of self-reflection. I got a little bit better reflection on myself than I'd had for 18 years. And I began to recognize the programming that I was operating by, the functions and formulas in my own psyche that were there guiding and directing the actions that I would take, whether they were conscious or not. Mostly they were not conscious. And so, first of all, I was freaked out by this automatic programming that was driving me. And my goal was to understand it and erase it and update it. Firmware update. To replace the old unnecessary programming with my own. To replace the old programming with my own updated version. Functions and softwares that operate efficiently. Functions that operate efficiently. Softwares that integrate smoothly and interface with other people in the world around them to allow this character to express from its core, to operate in the world and give the flavor back to life that only this character can give, based on the set of experiences and history and filters and everything that I've been through to give me an experience of life that no one else can have. And I began to recognize a bit of a communication back and forth with life. When I would the best way to describe it is a moment of synchronicity. We can thank Carl Jung for giving us that phrase to describe a moment when the internal circumstances, everything within your thoughts and mind and emotional and inner self, when everything within the self is in sync with all those things that are external to the self, the external world, other people, other situations, nature. When things within nature seem to be in alignment with things inside the self to such an improbable degree, it will blow your mind. It's like, a really basic example would be like, this happens to everybody. You're thinking of a friend you haven't talked to in 10 years, and they call you on the phone. You're like, I was just thinking about you, and you called on the phone. Now, to varying degrees, that happens to us all throughout the day, but sometimes something like that happens to such an improbable degree that you're like, time seems frozen, the world seems like it stood still, and you're at the center of the universe, like the universe is speaking directly to you to tell you that every moment of existence has happened as it has to bring you and everything else right to where you are right now, because this is how it was supposed to be. Now, if you've never had that kind of feeling, I don't know how to help you. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I suffer from delusions of grandeur or psychosis or a fragmented psyche. I am the victim of an abusive family situation growing up. Like the majority of you come from a broken family, from two parents that, quite frankly, should not have ever gotten married. It was not radical. It was not rational or logical or reasonable for them to get married and have a relationship together and raise children in this world. Thankfully, they recognized that early on and separated, because at least there was less violence with them separated than if they tried to stay together. Now, unfortunately, that wouldn't save me from years of psychological and emotional abuse, which eventually led to physical abuse so bad that the state forced me to move out of my home because it was not seen a healthy place for me to continue living in. I moved in with a friend of mine to finish off my high school career, the school I was in, because I was very active in the sports teams, extracurriculars. I was engaged in everything in my community. By the time I graduated high school, I had 15 state championship titles in track and field alone, plus state championship titles in football, and maybe that was it, football and track and field. I was a track athlete. I was a runner. I was a fast little white kid. But it was because I learned how to transmute the anger and the frustration and the pain that I felt and experienced on a regular basis. I learned how to transmute that energy into something positive, something beneficial. I would use that anger and rage to fuel my legs to run that much faster and that much further, past the point where my lungs were burning and my muscles were burning like battery acid, seeping through the sinews of muscle fiber, and I feel like I cannot move my arms anymore, and pushing it past that limit. The only way I had energy to do that was because I was angry inside. Now, we can either give in to the anger and allow it to consume us and corrupt us, or with willpower and determination, self-control, we can take that anger, which is potential energy, we can transmute it into something positive and beneficial, and we can use it to enhance our own lives and to better our offering with the world, to increase our community, to enhance the communications we have, to share more information, to help us all evolve and change together. Even negative energy can help us do that better. But it takes self-control, takes discipline and willpower, takes a strong mind and a strong body. I wouldn't be at a place where I understood that and was capable of that in my life if I had not had a history of heartbreak, of backstabbing, of pain, of abuse, betrayal, loneliness, solitude, internalization, self-reflection, meditation, prayer, communion with life, with divinity, with the external, with myself, with other people, with nature. It takes a village to raise a child, right? Well, it's taking a huge freaking village to raise this 30-year-old man-child. And I am thankful for every single one of you who has supported me in my weird freaking journey over the years. Whether you helped me with a couch to sleep on when I needed it, or a meal to fill my belly when I was hungry and couldn't afford groceries, or whether you flat out helped me pay for a month of rent when I was incapable of creating the finance to sustain myself. There has been a community of people who have been there at the perfect time in the perfect place to keep me from falling through the cracks. And that patchwork community of what encompasses friends and family and random individuals and strangers, people I know, people I've never met. This community, in its greatest sense, is a community that sees beyond the boundary conditions that fragment our lives. They see through the boundary conditions to the relevance and potential value that we all have within us. Those of you who have seen the value that I have within me and who've supported me through the years to help me get to where I am now, I am eternally grateful for you. It's you, and it's the community that has supported me. It's the only reason why I'm alive today. It's the only reason why I have a passion to stay here, to continue giving back to the world, to use all of the skills that I have, all of the knowledge I've developed, all the wisdom I've acquired from all of the failures I have stumbled through and continue to stumble through. But at least I've learned from my failures, and the knowledge has become wisdom to help me act in a way that keeps me in harmony, keeps me on the path that life wants me on. And now, at this point in my life, when I can see the major cycles in their evolution, I can see the cycles that I've struggled to break so that they wouldn't trap me down in this lifetime, and I could get out of those and step into my own unique track that my spirit was ready for in this life. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. I wouldn't have the skills and this wisdom and this potential energy to give if it wasn't for you. And the best thing I can do at this point in time is to share everything I've got with the community that's eager to receive that, that's eager. And that's a community that's eager to develop their mind and body, to live according to your highest potential, to be the person that you want to be, to talk like you want to talk, to act like you want to act, to do the things you want to do, to have the job you want to have, to go and do the sports you want to do, to win the awards you want to have the recognition you want to have, to give the speeches you want to give, to get the accolades you want to have the community you want to have the finance you want to have, to raise the children you want to have the lineage you want to be remembered by. We live in a time where technology now allows us to pick up the pen and craft the story. Technology now allows us to embody our creatorship, to express our capacity as creators in this life, not just to create videos and audio, music and video and media, but to create a life of experience worth living, worth remembering, worth taking pictures of, worth taking videos and recording the audio and sharing it, because the experience is amazing.